Hey everyone, XanaGear here. I have been hearing from everyone and anyone that Mossranking is the place to be in the Spelunky community. You got Spelunky 2, you got Spelunky HD, you got Spelunky Classic even, not a good video game. And you even got like roguelike challenges and stuff. And later leaderboards all, organized with algorithms and complicated stuff that I don't understand. You do your speed runs, you do your score runs, and then you post them on this website moderated by Saturnin, and like all of this stuff just to number the people. Look at DT up here and Hectic. When's Hectic gonna beat DT anyway? All this to say, why do it like this? Why do it the hard way when you can simply rank the moss? So we've got American tree moss, ribbed bog moss, pincushion moss, plume moss, baby tooth moss, rigid beard moss, it says Catherine moss, okay, shaggy moss, common haircap moss, shiny seductive moss, common tamarisk moss, probably not saying that right, spoon-leaved moss, dwarf haircap moss, springy turf moss, glittering wood moss, water screw moss, Heath star moss, juniper moss, and mood moss. Okay, so the first one we gotta go. We'll just knock it out in order, okay? American tree moss. It's American. It's D tier. That's easy. Ribbed bog moss makes me think of like something gross. So also D tier. All right. Pincushion moss though. Look at it. It looks all like soft and nice. It's good. It's very, very good. Pincushion moss is A tier. Plume moss. Plume moss. I need a better picture of plume moss, so I'm gonna look at some bigger plume moss. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice. We're going to Google Images here. It's not loading, by the way. There it goes. Okay. All right, we got some plume moss here. We're going to ostrich plume naturalist, inaturalist.org. Look at that. This just looks like a plant. This doesn't even look like moss. I say on a moss ranking, you need the moss to be moss-like. It's a good moss, but it's not so mossy. When you think of moss, you think of like growing on trees, on rocks. You don't think of a plant, so popping out of the ground and having roots and stuff. So I'm gonna put this in B tier. It would be an A tier otherwise. So baby tooth moss. Baby tooth moss looks good, but again, it's a little less mossy than you'd think. And also baby tooth, gross. The C tier. Rigid beard moss. This one's good. This one's good. It looks like it's on like a tree or something. It's definitely got the moss quality you're looking for. Nice rigid moss. Really holds that tree, holds that dead tree together, keeps it looking rustic, makes it nice decoration for your yard. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Catherine moss, that's a person. So I'm gonna put that in in D tier. That's not a moss at all. Okay, so shaggy moss. Shaggy moss is it's a good name. It's a very good name. You really want your moss to be shaggy. Oh my god, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Shaggy moss is the first S tier. It's a shaggy moss. You got it. Where are the Scooby snacks? True. You missed moss ranking? No, we are still ranking the moss. Common haircap moss is something we are definitely gonna think about here. Haircap. So do you take the moss and wear it on your head as a cap that you like swim with? Because that's not very mossy. But it does look kind of nice. It looks kind of like it's underwater. It looks like it could be underwater. It's kind of separated. There's too many gaps. That's a C tier moss. Shiny Seductive Moss. I'm afraid to Google search this, but I am gonna type it in. Entidon Seductrix. Are you joking me? Look at this guy. This is the moss. This is the moss we were looking for. Look at this freaking moss. It's good. This is good. It covers everything. It's got layers. It's fantastic. Okay. This is, oh my god. This is right next. This is above Shaggy Moss. This is the best moss. What was the name? We're going back. All right. Entidon Seductrix. That's the name I use places. Common Tamarisk moss is definitely, it's common. Let's put all the commons together because they start with a C, they go in C tier because they're common. Nobody likes a common moss. You want a nice, rare, specific moss. You know what I mean? No one wants just a normal common. Look at them; they're all boring looking. Unless you got that like rocky moss. That's the kind of moss you really aim for. That's common, but they don't call it just common moss. You know, the moss you look for to lead yourself through the woods. That's the moss you're looking for. Spoon-leaved moss. It's got leaf in the title. It's a D tier. It's not even a moss. It's got leaves. A dwarf haircap moss. This is another haircap, but it does look a little more interesting. It kind of just looks like a bunch of flowers though. I'm gonna look at pictures of this. Dwarf haircap moss. Okay, that's just flowers. Jesus, up your moss game. Dwarf haircap. Springy turf moss is exactly what we're looking for in a moss. It's not rare, it's not seductive, it's not shaggy, but it is what you look for in a moss. It is the perfect moss. If you are going from like mossy to not mossy, springy turf is right where you want your moss level to be. It is perfect. It's springy. You know, we're putting that above pincushion for sure. Glittering wood moss. This makes me picture a forest with elves in it. And I gotta say, I like the name a lot. The name is good, but what is it? Glittering wood moss. Let's see what it looks like. Cause, don't know how I feel about this one. This one is again just a bunch of leaves. There's moss, like there's moss around this. Look at that. There's moss around that. But the actual glittering wood moss itself is not very moss-like. This is gonna, I like the name so much that it's gonna bump it up to B for me. But it's not as mossy as you want it to be. Water screw moss. Water screw moss. This is important. All right, this one I like, I think. Yes, this is what we're looking for. That's leaves, but these, I like this one. It covers a lot. It's good. Let's put this in. This is also B tier. Okay, Heath Star Moss. I've been waiting for this one. This is a good one. It's very green. It's very green. Heath Star Moss. Campylopus introflexus. All right, it's that bumped it up. That bumped it up right there. Oh yes, I like this one a lot. Okay, look at this picture, guys. This is a good one. That might just be grass though. But what is moss if not short grass? Short grass. All right, we're putting this on A, obviously. Put it above rigid beard. Juniper moss. I think of juniper moss when I think of moss, but I don't know why, because I don't know if I've ever seen it myself. Juniper moss. That's also a person, I think. This is too, all right, this is too separated. That's too separated for me. It's not cover enough surface area, but look at it there though. That's a bush. Okay, so we are eliminating this as a moss. This is another D because it's a person and it's a bush. So mood moss. Mood moss. This is good. I like the name. Oh, look at this just Easter egg here. Super moss. All right. This box says super moss on it. So look at this. This is the mossiest of the bunch. I think this might beat every one of them. Wow, I didn't think we'd end with a showstopper here. But Juniper Moss, Mood Moss is at the S tier. And that is my Moss ranking. Why do we bother with all these algorithms when we can just rank the Moss? Thank you, I've been XanaGear. See you in the next video. This is the true... I can't with a straight face. This is so stupid. We've got America's... Blue's staring at me. Blue's staring at me, and it's making me extremely anxious. Face away.
Are you ranking?
Yes, yes I am. Why are you laughing? I finally kept a straight face for 2 seconds. I'm not gonna be able to keep a straight face for the rest of this. I'm sorry. This is when I cut this out.